Well, hello, regular Drews.
Hello.
Quick cold open just to remind you that our 2026 census is live right now. If you have not had a chance to complete our census, please do. You can go to our website, regularnancydrew.com, and there's a link right on our homepage. We would just love to get to know more about you, your listening habits, what it is you want to hear from us in the next year. It's just a great opportunity to give us your feedback, and we really look forward to getting that every year. So if you have a chance, head on over and fill that out. It is going to be open until just the end of March. So you have just about 4 days left, I think, to fill that out. So yeah, we hope you do.
Yeah, we look forward to hearing from you.
Well, aren't you a regular Nancy Drew?
I learned that from the Nancy Drew Detective.
Okay, go.
You think you can follow the clues and solve the case of the missing condiment, Nancy Drew?
Because I've read every Nancy Drew mystery ever written.
Nancy, please tell me you're joking.
Wow, you suck at this Nancy Drew stuff. You should get a new hobby.
My name is Carson Drew, and this is my assistant, Nancy.
Nancy Drew.
It's curtains for you, Miss Drew. Nancy Drew strikes again.
A regular Nancy Drew.
Well, hello, regular Drews.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome back to another episode. This is episode 133, and we will be discussing another Nancy Drew file. This one, number 30, Death by Design.
Yes, the inspiration for Danger by Design, of course, the 14th PC game.
Oh my goodness.
Quite different.
Yeah,
Although
very different.
You could definitely tell what was supposed to be what, but ultimately a lot has been changed. So.
Yeah, for sure. And I do say, if we have to pick a favorite here, the book or the game, I'm going to say game 100%.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yes.
I mean, I think the book was interesting. Let me clarify.
Interesting is a good, yeah.
I didn't enjoy reading it, but I did think it was like an interesting thought experiment of a book. Like concept, because in this book, kind of the main issue here is that Nancy is sick, basically. She's like under the weather, to put it lightly. We'll obviously go into that, regular Drews, but like she is disabled to the point where she's like having to be kind of carried around a lot of the time. And so I thought it was interesting to kind of read a mystery where Nancy is like not really cogently there, because we've had other mysteries where Nancy has like an injury, right? I'm thinking about like the diary where she gets her broken leg. Sometimes she maybe will like be a little under the weather or something, and then obviously many times she does actually get attacked and physically harmed. But I feel like we haven't read anything to the extent of like this level of cognitive impairment. And so I thought it was interesting to read as like, what would it be like if Nancy actually doesn't have her kind of real sleuthing chops? Of course, she still manages to solve the mystery and save the day and everything is fine. But I found myself getting really frustrated.
Yeah. Interesting thought experiment. Interesting in just that it's different and it makes you think, but not interesting in like a good, compelling way.
Yeah,
So
unfortunately. Unfortunately. I do also think, so right off the bat, we do also need to give a content warning about this particular book, because it does contain animal harm and then also a suicide attempt at the very end. Try to give some qualifiers around when that's going to happen so that you know when you can skip forward a little bit. But just so you're aware, that's in this book. I do have to say the animal harm is pretty rough for me to read.
Yes.
They don't focus on it too much in the book itself, but that in and of itself was traumatizing for me.
Yes. I mean, it was hinted at on the back of the book, and so we were talking about this in our last episode, like nothing better happened to that dog. Well, it does, unfortunately, to tell you right up front.
Yes. Yeah. I guess we should just go ahead and say then. So, content warning here. I'm about to talk about it. the dog dies. So yeah. And then they like treat it like it's like nothing happens, basically.
Yep.
They're like, sorry about that. And then they just kind of move on. And I'm like, excuse me? her dog dies, who she like loves and is like obsessed with, by the way. So well, yeah. So I
not
mean,
to the point that she actually like tried to
true.
take care of the dog
That's
when
true.
it was sick or went to the vet with the dog or any of that. So,
but yeah, so all of it is kind of complex and layered and frustrating and sad. So yeah, we'll definitely talk about that more in depth when we get to those plot points. But yeah, no, that was rough.
Yeah.
Rough.
No, I told you, I think last week sometime that I intentionally spoiled it for myself. I couldn't stand going into it, not knowing. So I just went ahead and peeked ahead and found out for myself. So going into it, we started in the negative flashlights, I think, just because of that, and had to earn our way back out. And I don't know how successful we were in actually earning our way out of the negative zone. So
yeah, it's unfortunate. I do think a lot of it, for me, the issue I had, as upsetting as the dog stuff was, I think I was kind of more frustrated with everyone else just being so kind of flippant and violent, and it just seemed like everyone I guess had the emotional depth of toddlers.
Yeah.
And like the impulse control level of toddlers.
Yeah.
Just like whenever anybody's mad, like fists start swinging, like people are hitting each other, like screaming, crying, like all of it was like a lot. I'm like, you guys are all supposed to be adults.
Yeah.
And there just really isn't any kind of level of prefrontal cortex activity that one would expect in one who is supposed to be, 28, 30, possibly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I was just constantly like, what is this? Like, am I reading like a Sweet Valley High book? Like, are these teenagers? Like, what is going on? I mean, some of them are teenagers. But the ones who are teenagers are the ones who are like the most the most reserved, the most like, calm down. Let's think about this for a minute, So just like, oh my God, like, can we just, I don't know. I wanted something a little bit more sophisticated, to say the least.
Yeah.
I wanted something with a little bit more depth in the story and then also in the characters. So
I do have to credit, I need to look it up who actually wrote Danger by Design, the game. I do have to credit whoever it was at Her Interactive.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like they must be a kindred spirit of ours, because we really like to, after we've dissected a book, like to say like, oh, what if we had changed this? And what if we had made this character do this? There had to have been so much of that going on with this book to have ultimately ended up where it did. Because like I said, you can tell, like the characters' names have all changed. The plot is completely different. It's really just the premise and like, we have a designer, we have a model, we have an assistant, we have a photographer, those pieces of it. And then really everything else has changed. So
yeah, exactly. Although I definitely can see the inspiration of Manette's character.
Absolutely.
Because like I was talking about the kind of like crazy, like tantrum, like level histrionics is like, oh yeah. Okay. So that's, that's where that came from, is like watching these people lose their minds over the smallest little things. And the tea, she also loves tea. So that's a nice little parallel. But yeah, you can definitely see how they took it and improved upon it. And I do really appreciate it. And props to them. Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. I do also have to say, so this book is mostly about poison. That's kind of like the big MO of our bad guy here. And listen, I'm not a doctor. Okay. I guess I don't really know how all poisons work, but I'm probably like 99% sure that it's not how they're written in this book.
Yeah.
It's not this. However poisons work, it's not this way. I'm so sure. Because well, I mean, obviously we'll have to get into the specifics of that, but I just felt like the whole conceit of it was so unrealistic in its like setting, if that makes sense, that I'm just like, I don't buy any of this. I don't believe it. Like,
just
why
one
is
of
this
1,000 plot holes in this book.
Seriously. So.
Oh my gosh, it's plot hole after plot hole after unbelievable, and not in a fun way.
Yeah. But in an interesting way. So I guess let's talk about the cover art.
I do love the cover art, I will say.
Yes, I also love the cover art. So Nancy is wearing like a full-on creamsicle suit. I don't know another way to describe it.
Yeah.
It's like orange creamsicle, and it's this gorgeous like cropped jacket with the sleeves rolled up, and then she's wearing kind of orangey, maybe yellow, tan, like what are probably shoulder length or elbow length gloves, but she has them all like scrunched up around her wrists. She also has her makeup and hair are on point on the cover as well. She got some lovely glossy lipstick going on. And then in the background, we have a man in a brown leather jacket holding a camera. This is definitely supposed to be, what is this guy's name? I can't even remember.
Paul?
Paul, yes. It's definitely supposed to be Paul. And then behind that, you see Nancy passed out on the ground in the same outfit. Well, actually, she's wearing a skirt in that. I guess maybe
it could be a
this could be a skirt on the cover. I don't know why they look like pants to me with the pleating, I guess. But yeah, no, it is, I guess, a skirt.
It could be the same outfit, yeah.
She's laying on the ground passed out with her head in Bess's lap. And Bess's shocked face. Bess is wearing a gorgeous pink sweater. And her shocked face looking straight out, like breaking the fourth wall. It's so funny. So funny.
That's a great Bess.
Yeah, that is a great Bess. I do love the look of this Bess. It feels accurate. It feels appropriate. I love the colors of this cover, like the pink and the orange of it all. I'm so into that. With the little like hints of brown everywhere. It feels very color coordinated. But I am kind of annoyed because the outfit that she's in doesn't match the outfit that they describe in the book. And I can understand why, because in the book, in this scene where she passes out wearing this outfit, it is like a black and white kind of get up, and I know that wouldn't look good on a Files cover, with their color palette and everything. So I totally understand why they would change that. But then I'm like, well, just make the outfit a different color in the book.
Maybe it's one of those where they were writing and drawing at the same time kind of thing. Yeah,
I'm sure, but like, how difficult would it to be in editing when you're finally getting the book all together and you have the cover and everything to just really quick be like, oh, let's just change this and mention orange, like,
that would have been nice.
But it's okay. I understand they were pumping these out very quickly, so probably was not something they were super concerned about, which is fine. But it's just my little perfectionist heart, can't help it.
Creamsicle's right, though. It's definitely a creamsicle suit, but it looks amazing on her. This is like peak 80s fashion right here.
Oh, yes. Very 80s. Very 80s. Okay. 3 words?
I gotta be nice. Okay. Poison.
Yeah, poison for sure. I was also thinking like inappropriate reactions, because I feel like we see that kind of across the board.
Ned.
Ned for what? I mean, I feel like every single character gives us an inappropriate reaction at some point. Except for, well, no, even Nancy. Nancy definitely does as well, because
Nancy doesn't react enough a lot of the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay, yeah, inappropriate reactions is perfect then. And poison, and is fashion boring? Like, I just want to say, like, high fashion.
I mean, I would say that, but I feel like that is almost like not even what the book is about. Like, I feel like we do not spend that much time talking about fashion or even like the show that's coming up. It's really just kind of like a background information for like the personal dynamics of what's going on. So I would say that if I felt like it was actually applicable to the book, but I feel like what's more applicable is like the pining that these people are like experiencing, or just like the angst of it all. You know?
Even just like the chaotic energy.
Chaos.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Let's go with chaos.
It is very chaotic. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Poison, inappropriate reactions, and just chaos.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. Yep. That's it. Okay. Shall you start us off in chapter 1?
Okay. So we open in November. Bess and Nancy are about to head to Chicago. Just last week, George was in Chicago, and while she was there, she met this famous fashion designer named Kim Daly. Kim told George that she's been receiving death threats, and George convinced her, like, oh, I have this sleuth friend. You got to call her for help on this. So now, a week later, she and Bess are going to go help Kim investigate this whole situation. Ned teases her. Gosh, Ned is in some rare form in this book, and that is not a good thing. So he's teasing her about being away because he's like finally home for some school break or something. Yeah. He's like, oh, the one time I'm home, you're off running around town or running around out of town.
Typical Ned.
And the impressionable line. Sorry.
Yes. Well, I just don't understand. He's all pissed off about this or whatever. I don't understand why he doesn't just go with her.
Right?
Like from
you've got the week free.
You have the week off. You're just, and you wanted to spend it in River Heights with Nancy. Just go to Chicago with her. Like it's just an hour's drive away or whatever. It's going to be fine. Pack a bag, stay in her hotel room. Like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Lord. Anyway.
But yeah, he's like nagging on her about it and makes her promise that the whole time she's there, she'll only have dinner with Bess. Because he knows how impressionable Nancy is around all these quote unquote big city guys.
I'm going to lose it already. I'm so mad. Oh, it doesn't take much to really put me over the edge with Ned.
Yeah.
I'm already like really punchy today. I'm like feeling real tired and like, come on.
So you don't trust her at all?
Oh my gosh.
No. Okay.
Yep.
Why are you with someone you don't trust and have to order around and tell her who she is and isn't allowed to have dinner with?
Doesn't she say something in response to him about like she doesn't like get on to him about girls at school?
Yes, she's like, how about all those cheerleaders at Emerson? Yes! I don't mention them to you.
All of this is said in like kind of jest. Like I think they're kind of teasing each other about it, but there is like this underlying layer of truth to it, especially when you consider all of the drama that we've already had in the files about it, about this kind of topic, them being jealous of each other and being around other people and having feelings for other people. So it's like it's oh haha, we're joking, are we ? You know what I mean? Like I can't with them. You guys.
I know we have it. What's the name of the book? Yeah, number 24, Till Death Do Us Part. I know we haven't covered that one yet, but that was 6 books ago in which he was engaged to someone else.
Yeah.
No, Ned, you don't get to do this whole, you're not allowed to have dinner. Presumably she's going to be spending a lot of time with Kim as well.
Right.
While she's there. Like, okay, whatever. Anyway.
And also, I mean, like, I'm sorry, not to bring this into it either, but like the heteronormativity of it all. Because, I mean, if anybody is in like a lesbian relationship in this book, it's probably Nancy and Bess. Like, let's be real. There are like some serious proclamations of love between the two of them, particularly at the end, that I definitely want to talk about. And so this whole like only have dinner with Bess, I'm like, haha, okay, Ned. Like,
sure.
Just they're sharing a hotel room. I mean, just like, come on.
Well, we're gone. You can have dinner with Mike and Mike only. How about that? Oh, gosh.
So,
also, as a side note, just so we know, George is currently on a sailing trip in the Caribbean, so she is not going to be around at all in this book, aside from that brief mention. Carson is also... Goodness, Carson, have we not learned our lesson? Carson has booked a week-long fishing trip at a place without a phone. Like, intentionally chose a place where he wouldn't be able to be contacted.
Listen, I kind of stan it. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
I feel like I'm Carson. Sans the fishing. I don't like the fishing. But I would absolutely sign up for, like, a spa where I cannot be reached. Like, there's just, like, you just can't reach me.
That sounds great.
There's no phone. So I get it. I get it for Carson. But when you have a daughter that is so prone to getting into trouble,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's maybe a little...
I get it. That sounds great for me, but I don't have an 18-year-old child who frequently gets herself into situations where I need to be on hand to come and help her, you know?
Yeah.
So Hannah's like, she's going to be here as like the go-between that she can try to reach out to Carson if she needs to, but he's like, yeah, there's not a phone there. So if I needed to contact someone, I would have to like drive to the nearest town and find a phone booth. Which it is 88. There are plenty of phone booths around. Carson could have been more in touch.
Yeah, methinks he didn't want to be in touch. You know what I mean? Methinks he's like, you guys are going to have to figure out how to get it together without me for a week. Like, you're just going to have to figure it out. If you die, it's not my problem.
A happy compromise here is like every other day I'm going to drive into town, check in, and then come back. And, you know, at least so that if something has happened 5 days ago, you're not just learning about it when you arrive back home. Whatever. Anyway, so Nancy and Bess get to their hotel in Chicago. And I guess for whatever reason, everyone is staying in this same hotel. It makes it seem like they're going to have some sort of fashion show inside the hotel, and everyone is kind of using different business rooms and different hotel rooms as makeshift offices. It's not super clear on why. I understand that like sometimes that might be necessary if you are traveling to do a show somewhere, but it to my understanding, Kim has an office here. Like she works in Chicago anyway, so I don't really understand why she's also working in the hotel, but everyone is here in the hotel for whatever reason. Kim has her temporary showroom set up on one of the higher floors of the building. And so they head up in the elevator to go visit Kim in her office. And in the elevator with them is a woman named Luella Teasdale, and she is a popular gossip columnist. But she has her assistant with her, Oscar Davis. And the two of them are kind of trash talking Kim while they're in the elevator. And she's like, yeah, Kim is such a slave driver. She's so hard on her employees. And then they all, like, they leave the elevator. They go to Kim's door, and Luella and Oscar, like, go to knock on Kim's door. And her security actually turns them away because they don't have an appointment with her. So... Nancy and Bess are let in, though, because, of course, Kim knows that they are coming. And then when they walk into this hotel room, it is absolute chaos. There's just a ton of models in here. Everyone's getting fitted for different things. Tons of people working and sewing, and music is blasting really loudly. And then they get into this, like, inner office where Kim is working. She is not what Nancy expected at all. She is just wearing jeans and a sweater, so whatever. She is really high maintenance and very picky, though. So she's like yelling at her assistant. Her assistant, Sarah, does bring them tea and cookies and yells at Sarah when it takes longer than 30 seconds for the tea to be ready. It's like, have you ever boiled water? Do you know how long that takes? And we also meet Chanel, Kim's tiny little Yorkshire Terrier, and she's very protective of Chanel, and she just kind of treats this thing like her purse dog that she just carries everywhere with her. She does tell Nancy and Bess that she got another death threat call just this morning. It's all been phone calls so far. It's just some creepy voice will call, and she has no idea who it could be that is doing this. Then her phone rings, and Kim picks it up, and it's yet another threatening phone call. She puts it on speakers so that Nancy and Bess can hear, and there's a voice that says, "Say goodbye to your sweet life, Daly. You'll be dead by the end of this week. And this will show that I mean business." And then a scream comes over the call, and this causes Chanel to run off in a crystal paperweight. I guess she, like, knocks something off the table. This paperweight, like, falls and shatters. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Incorrect.
That's what it is. It's not a scream, though, is it? It's just like a really high-pitched noise, right?
It's a scream. This confused me for a really long time because I thought that the scream was reaching like a level of sound, right? Like pitch that was shattering the crystal paperweight. Turns out
what's happening, right? Oh, no, there's a bomb inside there?
There's a bomb inside the crystal paperweight. But we never like actually say that like straightforward. We then talk later about a bomb threat being called into Kim's office, and I was confused about that. I was like, what bomb? Like, what bomb threat? And then later, even after that, they talk about a bomb being in the crystal paperweight. And I'm like, okay, I missed that entirely. So the paperweight shatters at the same time that the scream is going on the phone. And I think it's supposed to be like scary, like they're doing this scream to make it seem like the crystal paperweight is being shattered by the scream, when in actuality, the bad guy's just detonating the bomb at the same time.
So the scream didn't detonate the bomb.
The scream did not detonate the bomb. No, it's a complicated scene. It's annoying. Yeah. I will also say that Chanel Kim is very like, you know, in love with Chanel or whatever, her dog. But then she feeds Chanel a chocolate cookie.
Oh, that's right.
And I'm like, you must not love your dog that much, Kim.
And
to not know that a chocolate cookie is going to poison your dog.
Yeah, dogs should not have any sort of chocolate flavored anything.
No,
and chocolate, but also not chocolate flavored cookies, and not caffeine either.
No,
maybe it's an herbal tea, but geez.
Well, even if it is an herbal tea, that's almost more dangerous because you don't know what kind of herbs are gonna mess with your dog.
Don't give your dog tea.
No, or chocolate. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
I hate this woman. She's so bad to Chanel.
Yeah.
So somehow this paperweight explodes, I guess via bomb detonation, and glass goes flying all over the room. Chanel's fine because she's already run out at this point, right?
Thank the Lord.
Thank goodness for now. So Nancy manages to tackle Kim to the ground just in time to protect her from any of the glass shards. Sarah, the assistant, however, is not so lucky, and she actually gets cut like right underneath her eye. So Nancy tells Bess,
dangerous, by the way.
Yeah.
Cut right into
blind
your eye.
You right there.
You could have glass inside and that's working your way to your eye. Yeah, absolutely blind you.
Easily. Yeah. So Bess takes Sarah out to get some first aid, and then Kim is annoyed by this, and she's like, well, don't be too long because we have to get back to work.
Oh my God, this woman.
She's awful.
She's really bad.
And so while Bess and Sarah are gone doing that, Kim's sister comes in. Her name is Morgan, and she is also working for Kim. She's described as being much prettier than Kim, but like beaten down by her because Kim is so mean to her.
This is a pretty weird description, I find. Have you ever met like two people, like two siblings or something, and been like, oh, you're prettier than the other one? Have you ever thought that?
That's so mean.
But that's what Nancy thinks.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, she's way prettier, but beat down. What? What an insane way to describe someone you just met. I can't.
Oh, gosh. So Kim is really rude to Morgan while she's there and bosses her around a lot. And then Morgan shows Kim this outfit that's just been completed. It's something that Kim has had specially made for her to wear to the like grand opening of the fashion show. And Nancy comments how beautiful it is. This is supposed to be the outfit that's on the cover here. And Kim is actually like, oh, well, why don't you try it on for me? Because, you know, I can't look in a mirror and see how it looks on myself. I have to see it on somebody else to know if it is actually a well-fitting outfit, right? And they're about to go to lunch anyway. And so Kim is like, just put it on and you can wear it to lunch when we go. So Nancy puts it on, and the outfit actually already has this brooch that's attached to, I guess, the jacket. It's this ruby pen, and she, in the process of putting it on, gets scratched by the pen because I guess the backing wasn't latched or whatever onto it. But she's fine. It didn't break the skin or anything like that. So they go downstairs to have lunch with Kim, and Bess is already in the lobby. So the three of them go and have lunch together. Before they go into the hotel restaurant, they actually run into a guy who Kim introduces as Paul Laval. He really wants to talk to Kim, but she kind of brushes him off and tells Nancy and Bess later that that is actually her ex-boyfriend. So I guess this is our Dieter, right?
Yes.
Also, she doesn't really seem to want to talk to him. It seems like maybe it's a little bit one-sided, these past feelings between the two of them. So she just kind of brushes it off, and they go into lunch. They go to the restaurant at the hotel, and it's super crowded, and Kim points out several people who are already there. There is Apollo, the city's top male model. There's a fashion designer from the Times, Luella Teasdale, and Oscar, her assistant, and then Linda Lena Roccaccini, a rival fashion designer who Kim is like obvious frenemies with. She's like, oh my gosh, darling, you look so great, blah, blah, blah. And then turns around, I hate her. And like very two-faced. Their food gets delivered, but Nancy starts to feel really weird. And so her appetite's gone. She won't eat anything. And her head starts hurting really bad. She starts getting like that cold shiver that you feel when you're about to get sick. And then she starts hearing this really loud ringing sound in her ears, and she just passes out. When she wakes up, she convinces Bess and Kim not to call an ambulance for her and instead just goes up to her room to take a nap. And she's like, oh, I must have gotten some like weird virus, but it's definitely like a 24-hour thing. So I'll be fine with some naps. Oh my gosh. After her nap, when she wakes back up, she gets the lowdown from Bess about the rest of lunch. She says that Paul, who's Kim's ex, he came into the restaurant and sat with Lena, Kim's rival. But then he got up and came to sit with Bess and Kim, which had Lena staring daggers at them. So Bess thinks that Paul is still into Kim and Lena is into Paul. So weird love triangle here. And that possibly gives Lena some motive to go after Kim.
Right.
Then Morgan, who's Kim's sister, she comes and knocks on Nancy's room door. Kim sent her to see if Nancy needs anything, and Nancy ends up asking her a little bit more about what she does for Kim. Turns out she handles all the like tedious and not fun parts of Kim's business, and Nancy wonders if that makes her bitter about the job. Kim comes running into the room at this point, brandishing a newspaper. Apparently, Luella, this gossip columnist, has published a piece about Kim. Apparently, someone must have spilled the beans about the phone calls and the paperweight explosion because they are mentioned in this article. Kim is absolutely furious about this. And she ends up seeing that Morgan is wearing a ruby pin, just like the brooch that was supposed to be on Kim's outfit, the one that kind of scratched Nancy. And Morgan is like, oh, no, I got this in a thrift store. This is not one of your designs. It's just a total coincidence that they're both rubies. Don't worry about it. But Kim literally rips it off of her sweater, leaving a hole where the pin was, and then slaps Morgan across the face and says that she knows she copied her design and she will make her pay for this.
Oh my God. There's a lot we need to unpack here, I feel like. First of all, yeah, the level of violence that Kim feels comfortable perpetrating against her sister, like just absolutely ripping things off of her, slapping her in the face is insane.
Yeah.
But I do also really want to talk about this whole Luella publishing this piece about Kim and the crystal paperweight, because I'm sorry, did that not just happen a couple hours ago?
Like maybe 2 hours ago. Yeah. It just happened.
How on earth did she manage to write this article, get it published, and printed in 2 hours, all while supposedly she has not left the building, by the way, because they were just upstairs and then they came down for lunch, you know? Like they're in the dining room still. So
how does she have time to even verify this story? Like,
this is not how newspapers work. It's in a newspaper. Like, it has to go to a printer's. This is the 80s. It's not like she has a blog that where she could just quickly type up something and hit post.
It's not Gossip Girl. Like,
no. This book came out in 1988. Yeah.
She's barely had enough time to find out that all of this happened and even just hear about it happening, let alone take the time to write it up and have it published in physical media.
So this is a plot hole.
Yeah.
Unless
big time.
Unless it's that she somehow knew about it ahead of time, which I think points to Luella.
Yeah, that makes you the culprit if you know that it's going to happen.
Right.
Like,
but it's not that. I do want to say that I don't think it's that.
Yeah.
So anyway,
plot hole number 1. Let's keep track. Let's count.
Well, I think plot hole number 1 is the fact that they're somehow all here in this hotel together at the same time. I feel like that's plot hole number 1. Because these are all Chicago fashion designers. Sorry, I know we already talked about this, but like why they all weirdly have offices in this hotel is beyond me. I don't get it. It seems really inconvenient not only for them who probably like they have other offices in the city, they must, where they've been working on these designs probably for at least months, if not the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly to have to like try to shift their offices to a hotel where I'm sure they have to do a lot of like moving of their stuff, moving the hotel stuff out, moving their stuff in.
Yeah.
Like
time consuming.
And then also for the hotel, I wouldn't want just like people's offices in my hotel building. Like, unless it's going to be like on its own floor or like I have suites that are already kind of like set up for that. Like,
mm-hmm.
you know, it's going to be chaotic and noisy and be, you know, potentially disruptive to other guests. Like, I can't imagine this, but yeah. So
I could understand if it was like for a temporary, like we just have this one event, the event's being held at the hotel, and therefore they've booked all these rooms just for like models changing purposes, just for them to like have a space for the models to do what they do. But their offices?
Yeah.
And maybe like a temporary workspace that she just needs it for those 3 days or whatever during the event, but not for weeks leading up to the fashion show. Because the fashion show, by the way, doesn't happen at any point in the book. We have not gotten there yet. All of this is just prep for the fashion show. So plot hole number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Plot hole number 2, that paperweight. How did that scream? And the bomb. How do you get a bomb inside of a piece of glass? That had to have been made like that.
Wait, no. Plot hole number 2 is feeding Schnell, a tiny Yorkshire Terrier, like we're talking about a teacup, I believe, size dog. Feeding them a chocolate cookie, they don't get sick. The dog's at least gonna puke.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know? Because the dog is small. Like, any level of chocolate, like, I think it tastes like an ounce. You know what I mean?
If it's just like a chocolate flavor, like an Oreo cookie, maybe if it was just like a few crumbs of it, she'd be fine. But if we're talking like a chocolate chip cookie that has chunks of chocolate in it, it's a different story. So I could kind of see that, like, oh, maybe she's just a bad dog owner, but it does feel a little plot hole to me. Yeah. And the tea thing. And she didn't get sick at the tea either. So
Yeah. So
so this is number 4?
So this is number 4.
Yeah. What was it even? What was the plot hole? I forgot where we were.
The plot hole is how the paper got published and printed.
Oh, yes. The gossip column. Yes.
But I think there is also another plot hole that happens in this, but we can't really talk about it yet because we don't know about it yet.
Okay. So I'll say we're at 4 so far. Technically, but more loading.
Right. Okay. But so Kim leaves this hotel room and Morgan is in tears after just getting slapped across the face, obviously. She shows Nancy the pin that I guess Kim had like taken it off, ripped it off her and then threw it, I think. And so Morgan gets it and shows it to Nancy and she's like, see, it's totally different. And Nancy looks at it and she's like, it looks really the same to me. But she doesn't like say that to Morgan. But anyway, then Morgan leaves and she says she has to go back up to the office because Kim will be mad if she takes too long getting back. And I'm like, girl, Kim just slapped you across the face. Are we really worried about what Kim is thinking right now?
Yeah.
Are we not calling the police? Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Or at least quitting. Like, I know this is her sister. And so there's like complicated dynamics there, I'm sure. But like, come on, this is not okay. And now we're worried about protecting Kim's feelings after she just smacked you in the face. I can't.
This
with Morgan.
Is some long-running trauma right here.
Must be. Yeah. But so Morgan leaves and then Nancy is starting to feel a little bit better. And so she and Bess head down to the lobby to buy a copy of every paper and magazine that they can get their hands on. Turns out that this story about Kim has spread like wildfire. Again, plot hole. How? It's been 2 hours. But they specifically bring up one column in the Chicago Tatler written by someone named Bronwyn Weiss. And she mentions a recent bomb threat against Kim that the police didn't even know about until Bronwyn like called in to confirm that this had happened. But apparently they went to search and couldn't find anything in her office. And I don't really understand this. In retrospect, I think there was a bomb threat, and I think that the bomb was inside the paperweight and they just couldn't find it. But Bronwyn, I think, kind of uses it as a way to imply that Kim is making it up and that it's just like a publicity stunt. So I don't know. Nancy and Bess then head to Lena's suite because Lena, remember, also has a suite here in this hotel for some reason. And they meet Lena's assistant, Allison. And she's like, sorry, Lena is not available. She can't see you right now, but you can leave a message. And so they do. But then Paul comes out of the side door in the suite holding a stack of photographs. Paul's a photographer. And he is a little defensive about having been caught in his ex's rival's office, right? And he explains to them, even though nobody asked him why he was here, he just like immediately jumps to an explanation that the only reason Kim is successful is because he's such a great photographer and because he did all of her photographs back in when they were together and when like her career was like getting started. So basically he's saying he's the reason why Kim is famous and such a successful designer. But then, you know, she dumped him at some point, and I think he kind of implies that it's because she got so successful and like didn't have time for him anymore or whatever. And so then he signed on with Lena after that, and he's been much happier working with Lena because apparently she's not as controlling as Kim was.
It would be hard to beat that. So
it's so messy because it's like, yeah, Kim is horrible. Paul seems pretty horrible too now.
Yeah.
Lena also seems pretty horrible. It just seems like just terrible people. It just seems like everyone is terrible. So anyway, also Allison, this assistant, Lena's assistant, is clearly head over heels in love with Paul. She like hangs on his every word. She's like, Paul, what can I get you? Like, you know, constantly trying to talk to him, be around him. But he doesn't pay like any attention to her at all, which is really kind of sad. And then he offers to show Nancy some of Lena's sketches. I don't know why he does this. I think it's like a way to show like how much better Lena is than Kim or something. But Allison is like, I don't think Lena would like it if you did that, Paul. And he's like, oh no, it's fine. Here, take these photos to the printers as like a way to like get rid of Allison so that he can show Nancy the sketches.
Oh my gosh.
But so then after Allison leaves, Nancy notices in the corner a device that she recognizes being a vocoder? Vocoder? I don't know. I've never heard of this before. But apparently it's like a device that can change and disguise someone's voice. So she's like, oh, is this the device that was used on the phone call, the threatening phone calls that Kim's been getting? Right? So she's like, Paul, what's this? What is this doing here? And when she goes to like reach for the device, he grabs her arm like so hard to like stop her from touching it and then basically kicks them out of the suite.
Okay.
So Nancy is pretty sure that this device is the device that was used to disguise the threatening caller's voice, and that Paul at least knows something about it, right? While they're standing in the hallway outside of Lena's office, they start to hear screaming from Kim's suite. So they rush over, and content warning, we're about to talk about the animal harm. They find that poor Chanel is seriously ill. And so they call an animal hospital who is able to like come and pick her up and take her. First of all, plot hole number 7, 6. I don't know what we're on.
I think we're at 5 now.
Oh, 5. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. An animal hospital with an ambulance service? Something I've never heard of.
I mean, that's amazing if it's real. I've never heard of it either. But that's okay. She doesn't take the dog to the vet. She calls the dog ambulance to come and get the dog. Fine, whatever. She doesn't go with the dog to the vet. She just like lets this nurse take the dog away and is like, call me if she dies.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I get that she's busy with her show or whatever, but I've got 2 dogs. There's not a work opportunity in the world that would keep me from them if they were dying.
No.
No. I would go in the ambulance with the dog. Go with the dog? Be with the dog? What are you doing? Yeah. You can't tell me that she cares for this dog as much as she says she does if she's not concerned enough to be with the dog at the time. Yeah. Who cares if your entire spring line falls apart? Let it fall apart? Sorry. Yeah. Maybe that's judgy, but...
No, I mean, I think it's probably more of like the way some people maybe view their pets as being more possessions than like creatures, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because she definitely doesn't see... She seems to care more about it as like an object than, you know, someone like a companion. So, yeah. No,
your baby's scared and sick and needs you for comfort, and you're like, just take her away.
Is like shivering on the ground, like barely conscious. Like, yeah, it's bad.
She's like paralyzed too. Like she can barely move.
Kim kind of explains how it happens. She said that she had just poured some tea, which apparently she also regularly gives to Chanel, and she put a saucer of it down for her and then went to go answer the phone before she had a chance to drink any. So, and in the process, like, of trying to go get her, like, answer her phone quickly, she knocks her own teacup off and it breaks. So she doesn't get a chance to drink it. And then when she turns back around from her phone call and she looks down, Chanel's tea from the saucer is gone, and Chanel was having this fit, right? Like some kind of seizure.
Poor Chanel.
I know. So we think that Chanel was probably poisoned from this tea, and the poison was actually probably intended for Kim. So, okay, we're done talking about the animal harm for a minute.
We're not over it, though.
We're not over it, but if you were skipping forward, we'll stop for the time being. But so Nancy asked to see the cup fragments from Kim's broken teacup, but Morgan has already conveniently cleaned it up and dumped it into the incinerator.
Okay. Sure.
What incinerator? I don't know. This is wild.
They have a lot of amenities at this hotel.
And then Lena rushes into Kim's suite, demanding to know what all the ruckus is about. Why is everyone screaming? And then Kim is like, oh, yeah, my dog was poisoned. So that's why I'm upset, Lena. And props to Lena, though. She apologizes and is like, oh, I'm sorry. Let me leave, you know? So, okay. But then as Lena and Paul and Allison, who are also here with her, start to leave, Nancy and Bess follow them and overhear Lena say that they poisoned the wrong animal, meaning that she wishes they had poisoned Kim.
Okay, that is a nasty thing to say. How about you wish no one had been poisoned? How about that?
It's just so wild. These people, this are so out of pocket. And Paul, to his credit, actually stands up for Kim and tells Lena that's a horrible thing to say. And so go Paul for that, I guess. And Lena agrees, like, oh yeah, sorry, Paul, I went too far. But Allison then seems to be disturbed by how much Paul defended Kim in this moment. And so she's like, I'm out of here. I'm going for a walk. So messy. It's so messy. So Nancy also notices that Lena is wearing a ruby pin very much like the one that she was wearing before and Morgan was wearing before. So, and then also at this point, Lena notices Nancy and Bess following her and unfortunately thinks that like they're spies working for another designer and like turns to go call security to get them kicked out. Nancy does manage to stop her and convince her that they're not spies. They're just here investigating threats against Kim. And then she also goes to ask her about the pin on her collar, but it's weirdly no longer there. And then Lena even denies having been wearing a pin, but Nancy saw it. So is Nancy hallucinating, or did Lena like remove it when she had turned away briefly? Did she notice that Nancy was staring at it and that's why she took it off? She seemed to notice that she was staring at it because that's what made her think that they were spying on her, right? Is because they were like checking out her outfit. So weird. So Bess and Nancy go back to their room where Nancy is feeling sick and exhausted again, and she just goes to bed. And then in the middle of the night, she wakes up with a fever. She's like shivering and sweating, and then she passes back out. And then in the morning, Bess goes down to breakfast while Nancy's kind of taking her time getting ready because she's so exhausted. And apparently the process of like getting up and showering is so draining to her that she just wants to get back into bed. Girl, go to the doctor.
I'm like, I want to go to bed too, Nancy.
I know. So then she goes into the hallway to go meet Bess, but she finds a note on the ground, and the note is from someone anonymous who says that Nancy has been poisoned, and that the poison was actually meant for Kim and not for her, and she's sorry, they're sorry, but she got in the way. So Nancy needs to get to a hospital because apparently this poison is fatal, and if she's not treated within 72 hours, she will die. So
Nancy, go to the hospital.
Go to the hospital, Nancy. Go to the hospital.
Gosh. So she calls Ned and asks him if he can come straight to Chicago and not ask questions.
I do really want to talk about this Ned and Nancy interaction, though, because actually, I kind of get it. I think a lot of the time I'm like so frustrated with this whole dynamic, but there are these moments sometimes between Ned and Nancy where I'm like, oh, okay, I can maybe see that they love each other despite all of this. And this is honestly one of them. Can I read a little bit of it actually?
Oh, yeah.
Let me find it. Okay.
It's more Nancy than Ned.
Yeah, that's true.
But
it is more Nancy than Ned. So Nancy's panicking. First things first, she thought to herself, and the first thing I want is to have Ned here. Nancy knew she'd never get through this crisis without him there to support her. So she calls him, and she's trying to sound as normal as possible. And Nancy says, listen, Ned, what's the matter? He asked instantly. A lot. I hate to screw up your vacation, but I've got to have you here with me. I can't even ask you if it's okay. Nancy's voice was wobbling. She cleared her throat and went on. I just have to have you here. Can you drive to Chicago right away? I promise to explain everything when you get here. Ned didn't ask any questions. I'll leave now, was all he said. And then they say that they love each other. I'm like, oh, okay. Okay, fine.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. It was just sweet. I just thought that was a really sweet moment where Ned is like he just goes along and doesn't ask any questions like she asked him to, and just agrees to come.
It is a little sweet. And he does agree to come, and he's on his way now. And then she calls Hannah at home and asks, like, hey, has Dad gotten in touch at all? Like, do you have a way to contact him? And Hannah's like, no, he's unreachable. You knew he was going to be away on his fishing trip. And she's like, okay, but like, what's wrong?
Yeah.
Why do you sound like this, Nancy? And Nancy's like, oh, I just wanted to see how the fishing trip was. Everything is fine. There's nothing to worry about. And Hannah's like, yeah, I don't believe you. What's wrong? And she just won't tell her for whatever reason.
This is so crazy to me. This is so crazy. She won't tell anyone.
Yeah. Is this another plot hole? Because it feels uncharacteristic of Nancy to try to like strong arm her way through a poisoning and not tell.
I don't know that does feel uncharacteristic of Nancy to me, but I am annoyed about it because it seems like I just don't understand the purpose of it really.
Yeah.
Outside of protecting Nancy's like feelings of invincibility. Like having to admit that she's in real trouble, is probably scary to her, but like it doesn't. I feel like your level-headedness, Nancy, a level-headed Nancy should kick in at this point and be like, okay, if I truly am dying, I need to tell everyone I love, so that they can come to see me before I die, or possibly help me in some way because I am dying.
She's so concerned. She says this multiple times. She's like, I might never see Ned again before I die.
Yeah.
Why do we not have the same level of care for Carson and Hannah? That they would want to see her if something did happen to her?
I mean, I guess she has that level of care for Carson because she tries to reach out to him, but not for Hannah.
Well, true, yeah.
Because she won't tell her.
So would she have told Hannah if she could have also told Carson? Or was she not going to tell Hannah either way? But
I don't know that she actually was going to tell Carson. or not, or if she just wanted to talk to him and like maybe try to get him to come home early without telling him a reason why, you know, because similar to what she did with Ned, where she's like, I just need you to come here, don't ask questions.
Maybe, yeah.
But yeah.
But she knows Carson well enough to know that Carson be like, yeah, okay, stop it. What's going on? You know?
Yeah.
He would put an end to that real quick.
And bless Hannah, she tries.
Mm-hmm.
She tries to be like, Nancy, what is happening? Oh, poor Hannah. We really put her through the ringer all the time.
I know.
She doesn't get to go anywhere fun. And then she has to deal with this level of shenanigans. She changed that girl's diapers. I don't know if Nancy was in diapers at 3, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she wiped that girl's bottom.
Yeah.
Yes. And to be treated with such disrespect.
Mm-hmm. She does at least sort of tell Bess. She writes out a note for Bess saying, I'm going to the hospital because I've been poisoned. Take this note from the poisoner to the police to have it examined for fingerprints. And so she runs down to the lobby and like runs outside and is able to call a cab. Actually sees Bess in the lobby, and Bess is like, oh, there you are. Are you ready for breakfast? And she's like, there's no time to tell you. Go back up to our room. Read the note. Gives her this whole like speech of instructions that could have been, hey, I was poisoned. Let's go to the hospital. No, we don't even take the time to tell Bess then. But she does get a cab to a hospital, and she's forced to wait in an emergency room for an hour, and finally she is...
Plot hole number 2, or 7? 6?
What do you mean?
Only having to wait an hour in an emergency room and not 4?
Yeah. Triage, hopefully. Yeah, hopefully.
It was the 80s, too, so.
It depends, I guess. But I've waited an hour in a hospital emergency room and not had anything like actually serious. This is... triage wise, should be bumped pretty high to the top of the list, I would
hopefully
hope.
Yeah. But I just don't know that someone in the ER would believe you if you said I've been poisoned and I have 72 hours left to live, because
I would hope they would believe you.
How do you know that? How do you know that you have 72 hours?
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like if you say I've been poisoned, they should take you seriously enough, regardless of what you say after that.
Probably.
I would hope they're trained in that way. I don't know. I don't have any medical experience at all. So, okay. So, yeah, the note being taken to the police thing is also a plot hole. I feel like I'll get to that in just a second. But anyway, Nancy is taken back to see a doctor who does take the story seriously, and she does run some tests. She comes back and she says, good news, we were able to narrow down the family that the poison came from, but it's still not enough information to treat you. Unless we know the specific poison, we won't know what we need to do for the antidote, and we can't just give you like an all-purpose antidote because it won't be effective enough to actually do anything to help you. And the doctor's like, okay, we're going to admit you to the hospital because we want to keep you under observation, especially if things are going to like get progressively worse for you over the next 72 hours. You need to have some help. And Nancy's like, no, thanks. I think I'll go now. I'm fine. Okay, next, what are we on now? Plot hole 6, 7?
I can't keep track.
I've never been poisoned. So correct me if I'm wrong.
I can't. I've never been poisoned either. But I'll do my best.
When you present to a hospital or an emergency room because you've had a crime perpetrated against you, do the police not get called?
I don't think they have to be, actually. I don't think they have to unless you're going to press charges against someone. Because like I think about like in the event of like a sexual assault, which is like how I think I know this, you don't have to call them to like collect the like a rape kit.
A kit, yeah.
If you're not actually, you can still go get it, but if you're not going to, like, which is a heads up for people, by the way, you can still go to the hospital and have them process a kit and not press charges. So yeah, I don't think you have to.
I feel like in situations where there's like a shooting or a stabbing, the police get called regardless of if you want to press charges. I feel like this would kind of fall under a similar vein where it's like a crime has been committed against you.
Well, I think it might be different because it's a violent crime versus a not violent crime. And in the event of a shooting or a stabbing, like you may not be conscious to be able to choose whether or not to press charges. And so then the police have to be called in case you do. But Nancy's saying that she doesn't want to stay. They don't ask. I guess we don't see if they ask her.
Well, that's the plot hole. Where are the freaking police this whole time? Because, okay, maybe they don't get automatically called to the hospital. They don't ask her, like, would you like us to call the police? Would you like to press charges? None of that happens that we know of. Bess does take a note to the police and say, hey, can you fingerprint this? And they're just like,
For
okay,
what?
sure, we'll do just that. We take requests from the public, apparently.
Yeah,
so they know at least that something is going on here.
And I read the note that's like, you've been poisoned. You know
so
what
the
I
police are gonna like help track down the person who sent the note, but not actually look into the contents of the note.
Yeah. Plot
and
hole.
Then I know that Kim at the start tells Nancy, I don't want the police involved. I don't want the gossip columnist to run with the story of the police coming here. It's no longer up to Kim because Nancy is currently the victim. Nancy should have the wherewithal to choose if she reports to the police or not, and it literally does not cross her mind at all. I feel like if the police had like been involved, this would have been solved by like hour 5 and not hour 71 and 45 minutes, you know?
I don't know. Maybe in real life, but I don't know in Nancy Drew universe if it would, you know?
There are way less serious situations where she does call in the police, and it just seems like it doesn't even cross her mind at all, other than to say, hey, Bess, go get this fingerprinted. It's not like, hey, let's tell the police so that the police can come in here and question everyone while I'm down sick and asleep.
I truly do think it's that she thinks that she has a better chance of catching this poisoner than anybody else, which is a crazy thing to think. I'm not. That's wild, especially once you have been poisoned to this extent where you're like basically having trouble staying conscious, you know, and like comes in waves kind of like, I think you probably need some backup, but I think that's why she doesn't. I think it's because she's like, only I can catch the poisoner. It's like,
you don't want help to make sure that this gets solved, understand. Nancy?
Yeah.
Not
even the police, but like your friends, your Drew crew, like your ride or dies, like the people who will go down for your dad, Hannah. Tell Hannah.
Yeah.
God. You know, Hannah will drive to go get Carson or fly to him or something. You know what I mean? Like,
seriously.
Yeah, I don't understand. Telegrams. They're courier. Like, we could call someone, a messenger in Canada or wherever Carson is fishing, to go get him and bring him back. Like, Ned should be calling Bert or Dave or whoever and be like, I need you to make a road trip. You know what I mean? Like, I don't...
It just... Yeah, there's no reason, logically, for Carson, Hannah, and everyone else not to know, at the very least. Second, there's no reason the police wouldn't be all over this story if it were real.
Yeah.
I get Nancy's reluctance to work with the police in some cases, but like, this is just inexcusable. There's no logical reason in this story that the police wouldn't have some idea of what's going on and some involvement here.
Yeah. No logical reason except that it's like a trope of the genre that we can't have police too involved because then Nancy can't be the detective, you know. But yeah, it's annoying.
Except all the other files where the police are very much involved. Like,
true. Yeah. Well,
I'm thinking of Circle of Evil. Detective Ryan was all over that story. Even if we didn't need him.
Well,
the next one that we're reading.
Know that they are. This is the thing. Is like whenever they're involved in a story, it's two ways, right? It's either to serve a purpose for Nancy in order to for Nancy to get key information, like giving them a note to be fingerprinted or having them look up like a license plate number or a criminal record on someone, and they're being helpful and it feels unrealistic, right? Or it's that they get in the way of Nancy's investigation, and so it acts as a like a challenge or an obstacle for Nancy to overcome to raise the stakes.
Right.
Never are they the ones actually solving the crime.
I don't need them to be, you know?
No. I understand. And I understand in this story why it's particularly frustrating when Nancy is like at death's door. And it seems like we could probably really use the help. You know what I mean? And it feels unrealistic to a point where I don't know if I buy it anymore because of how high the stakes are. But I think when I talk about like tropes of the genre, like that's why is that like police involvement is in Nancy Drew books are limited to those things because it's a detective story. So it's like it feels like it has to follow those rules. But I agree. I do wish that there was a moment where someone calls the police, maybe like Bess maybe talks to them more or whatever, and they're like, sorry, we can't help you if you don't know how we were poisoned.
Right. That would have been fine.
That would have been fine. To like hear back from them a reason why they're not being involved, and then we could still hold to those kind of tropes without having to actually have them involved in the story, you know? So in a way that's realistic, but yeah.
Yeah. So the doctor tells Nancy, like, we need to admit you. You got to stay so we can keep you under observation. And Nancy's like, nope, I'm going to check out. She says that her only chance of survival is to find the poisoner and force them to tell what poison they used. And then she'll be able to report back to the doctor and everything will be great and fine. Right?
Okay.
And the doctor's like, okay, fine, but you have to check in every couple of hours. We're going to check in once, but we agree to this. So whatever. But yeah, so now we are on like serious time pressure here. We're down to like 48 hours at this point, and Nancy doesn't even know how she got poisoned in the first place. If only you had some sort of professional to bounce ideas off of. So she...
This kills me.
What little energy she has left, what little strength she has left in the reserves.
It can't be real.
She decides she's feeling so much better now that she doesn't want to take a cab back to the hotel because the weather's nice. She's just gonna walk. Why preserve our energy to save it for things like solving the mystery, questioning suspects? No, we're going to waste all of that energy walking back to the hotel leisurely when we could have just gotten a cab to take us there immediately.
She's been told she has 72 hours left to live. 72 hours. And she's like, I'm going to take a walk in downtown Chicago. What is going on?
Not just hustle.
No, she's window shopping.
She's window shopping.
She's shopping. She even thinks about maybe I should go into a store. No, I'll just look through the windows. Nancy, go be with your loved ones.
Leisurely strolling around, killing time. Oh my gosh. So yes, she does this. She starts window shopping.
I can't.
Down the streets of Chicago. And it's like this really fancy store where like the door's always locked and a sales associate has to come let you in. So this store attendant lets Nancy in and it's like, oh, come in and buy these dresses. And so she sees this rack of dresses hanging in this window that look exactly like Kim's designs. And so because the store attendant sees her looking at the rack of dresses, she lets her in. And she's like, these look like those one-of-a-kind designs that Kim Daly makes. Are these Kim's? And the store attendant is like, oh, yeah, definitely Kim's. But then Nancy looks at the label, and it doesn't say Kim Daly's label on it. It has, like, this store's proprietary brand or whatever on it, not Kim's. And so Nancy's like, what is this? And she basically gets kicked out of the store. The shop attendant gets really nasty with her and is like, oh, you gotta go, can't have people just looking at these dresses, and kicks her out. And so of course now we know that someone is stealing Kim's designs, and she starts to wonder if Kim herself could even be involved with this scheme.
Oh my goodness.
So she gets back to the hotel, and Bess, who's just sitting there waiting, doesn't know if Nancy is alive or dead, Nancy gets back to her and she's like, okay, I have a plan. What we're going to do, we're going to leave a message on the hotel bulletin board. But we're going to like write it in code so that only the poisoner understands. Yes, the poisoner is probably just monitoring this bulletin board with hopes that you'll reach out. And in the code, Nancy is going to ask this poisoner to meet her in the ballroom of the hotel at 3:00 today. So they hang up this coded message on the bulletin board, and then they go to the restaurant for lunch. And we see Morgan and Kim at a table in a corner. So she goes over and she's like, hey, I saw at this store down the road dresses that looked exactly like yours. And Kim goes ballistic. Apparently, she did not know that the store was selling her designs. And so she runs over to Lena, who is there having lunch with Paul and Allison, and grabs her by the throat and starts shaking her around, screaming at her, calling her a thief, and says that she's going to shake the truth out of her.
Oh my God.
You're insane.
They're in a hotel restaurant, by the way. I just want to make that clear. Like in full view of God and man, just brawling. I can't.
In front of the entire industry that she's trying to impress, all of their colleagues are here in this restaurant for lunch. Mm-hmm. Just doing this in front of everyone. And so, of course, Lena slaps Kim in response and is like, I'm not a thief. You're just a sore loser. And so she leaves, and Nancy realizes that when Lena gets upset, her voice sounds, I think this, when they were describing in the book, she has like a lot of sibilance in her voice. And when Lena got upset, she sounded more like that. And so the threatening phone call sounds a lot like Lena's voice when she's getting a little bit more on edge. So could Lena be the poisoner and was just like disguising her voice a little bit? So whatever, all this happens. People start to kind of trickle out of the restaurant, and Ned arrives. Nancy is so happy to see him, and they go upstairs to her and Bess's room, and she tells him everything that has happened and explains the whole poisoning thing. Ned is super upset and terrified by this, but he jumps into action. He actually calls the hospital and Chanel's vet just to see if there's any update, and neither one has made any progress in identifying the poison. Also, we get a report from the vet that they think Chanel is not going to make it. So, very upsetting. Nancy starts thinking about it, and she finally realizes it must be that brooch, that ruby pin that was attached to that blazer that she tried on for Kim at the very start of the story. Somehow the poison must have been on the tip of the pin. And so she thinks that that's how it was administered, that it was, of course, meant for Kim, and it accidentally got... Even though it didn't break the skin, we specifically say it didn't break the skin.
I'm saying, how? This is what I think is another plot hole. Yeah. If it didn't actually break the skin and get into your bloodstream,
then how's it a poison?
I mean, I do know there are some like topical kind of poisons, right, that you can get, but I don't think any of them are particularly fatal. Like,
especially in such a tiny dose that it would be a molecule on the end of a pin.
On the end, a literal pinhead, not even pinhead, the tip of a pin, not the head of a pin, smaller than that. There's no way that what kind of poison is this that it's okay to just carry it around? First of all, I don't see how this is possible.
We're gonna have to talk about this at the end because it is 7 plot holes in and of itself. I think I've lost count at this point, but I know that puts us like over the 20 count in total. Gosh.
Yeah.
So she sends Bess to take the pen and take it to the hospital to have it tested or whatever. And then she and Ned...
Well, no. She sends Bess, but we don't actually find it. We don't ever get it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like gone.
So dead end there, I guess.
Yeah. But then I don't understand. But the thing is like, Bess can't find it. But then I'm like, why are we still not calling the hospital to tell them, hey, by the way, I know how I was poisoned. It was on a pin, and I got scratched by it barely. So, like, you would think that that's important information to identifying what kind of poison could possibly have affected you this way.
You would think.
So frustrating.
Oh, and this scene. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's
Toxic
right.
Ned at his peak. Okay, so Bess is unsuccessful in taking the pen to the hospital because we can't find it, but now it is time for that 3:00 meeting in the ballroom with the poisoner, and Ned volunteers to go with Nancy. So they go down there to meet the poisoner, and the ballroom is all set up for the fashion show. I think the catwalk is already set up, and Nancy and Ned wait for a minute, and nobody is there, but then Paul and Allison walk in. And Nancy starts asking him, what are you here to tell me? What kind of poison is it? I know it was you now, obviously. And Paul is like, what are you talking about? We're just here to do the light setup for the show. Like, we're just checking, because I have to do the photographs and like the lighting has to be right. And I'm just checking the lighting. What are you talking about? And Ned gets so fed up by this, even though at this point Nancy is like, hey, Ned, don't do anything.
Yeah.
Please don't do anything. Please don't get involved. You're just here for moral support. Please don't. Also, I'm starting to think that it's not Paul. Ned ignores all this, and he goes up to Paul so angry and punches him in the face. Allison starts screaming and throwing herself on top of Paul and exclaims that Ned has murdered Paul. He hit him so hard that Paul has died.
We have to read this scene because also Paul calls Ned Captain America.
Oh, yeah.
And I died when Paul said that. I laughed so hard I had to put my book down because it's the most accurate thing I've ever heard in my life. But no, this is such an intense scene. I just feel like we need to read it. So Paul tries to leave. He's like, people are like jumping on me. I'm out of here kind of thing. Ned blocked his way. Where are you going? He asked. You try to kill my girlfriend and then you call her crazy? Ned, Nancy said, calm down. I see that both of you are crazy, Paul said airily. Get out of my way, Captain America. I'll get you out of my way, Ned shouted, and he hauled off and punched Paul in the stomach with all the strength he had. Paul keeled over without a sound. His head hit the floor with a thud. Allison gave a terrible scream. Sobbing hysterically, she rushed over to Paul and threw herself down beside him. Then she looked up at Ned, her face a ghastly mask of grief and horror. You've killed him, she shrieked.
Okay, I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you tell a man not to hit somebody, and then that man still goes and does violence on your behalf, doing air quotes there, that's not romantic.
No.
That's not romantic to beat someone up for you, especially when you're actively telling him not to do it.
No. It means they can't control themselves, which means that if they ever get angry at you, you know, you aren't going to be able to control the situation either. So
no rationale, no decision-making skills here. Just jump straight to violence.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. So Nancy is like so overcome by this occurring, I guess, combination of Ned punching this guy, the guy dying, and her being ill. And so she just passes out. She faints. And when she wakes up, Bess is there, and so are the cops. Finally, we get the cops here. They're actually arresting Ned, and Paul is actually not dead. He is alive, but he's being taken away in an ambulance. So he is not dead. Allison was just, worried and scared. So Nancy tries to get up and go with Ned, but she's too weak, and so Bess takes her upstairs to go lie down. And so she takes a nap, and when she wakes back up, Bess shows her an envelope that was taped to the door, and it says, now they know that Nancy deserves to die in the same way as Kim because of like what's just happened. I don't understand how we don't immediately know who it is at this point because of this. Like, I don't get it. But also the note says that Nancy deserves to die in the same way that they've described in all of Kim's notes, which is weird. Because to our knowledge, Kim hasn't been left any notes. She's only been called. She's only had threatening calls. She's never had a threatening note. So is the poisoner not the one who's been threatening Kim in the phone calls? Is the poisoner someone else? So the only thing that we know right now is that because Paul's in the hospital, he couldn't have left this note. So that crosses Paul off our list of suspects. So one down. But at this point, it still seems like everyone else has motive and clues tying them to like these Kim ripoff designs, you know, like the little ruby pin or whatever. So we still have no idea really who the poisoner could be. How? I don't know, because we have such a limited pool here. It seems pretty obvious to me. But so then Nancy, wasting her time, calls the police department to check on Ned, and the officers she speaks to tell him that he's being charged with assault and battery. Probably as he should be, because he just went off and punched some guy in the stomach. You know, judge, jury, and executioner Ned.
Jeez.
So Bess reminds Nancy that she kind of has bigger worries right now than calling and checking on Ned, like finding the poisoner and preventing her own death and all. So Nancy decides that it's probably time to start narrowing down her list of suspects. You think, Nancy? I don't know. So she's like, well, the only one I know or I figure I can track down right now is Morgan. So let's start there. Eventually, we find Morgan at the hotel pool because Kim has given her a break, and I guess Morgan likes to swim. So, interesting fact about Morgan. And when Nancy approaches her while she's swimming, Nancy can see, like, immediately when Morgan notices Nancy there that she kind of, like, tenses up and gets nervous. And so Nancy figures that Morgan clearly has something that she's trying to hide from Nancy. So when Morgan gets out of the pool, Nancy pretends that she already knows about this. Like whatever it is that Morgan's hiding, she's like, oh, listen, Morgan, I know. You need to come clean kind of a thing. And so Morgan admits that, yes, there is something, and she tells Nancy about it. Unfortunately, Morgan seems to know nothing about the poisoning and is shocked to hear that Nancy is like also a victim, as well as Chanel. But she does tell us a week ago, after a particularly rough day working for Kim, Lena had asked to be let into Kim's office for like to look for a book of models that she had like supposedly borrowed. And Morgan let her into the office and left her alone in there, even though she knew she shouldn't have. So this is what she's feeling guilty about. This is what she's been trying to hide, that she let Lena into Kim's office and left her there unattended. And then just a few days later, Lena gave Morgan a copy of Kim's pin as like a quote unquote thank you for letting her in there, and kind of like as a way of bragging that she had stolen Kim's designs while in that office. Right?
Come on, Morgan.
Oh,
at least don't wear the pin.
That's
around
what I'm
Kim.
saying. Like, first of all, I can understand doing it when you're angry and then regretting it or whatever. But then to have this, first of all, for Lena to make a gift and then give it to Morgan, and then for Morgan wild. To wear it in front of Kim is Excellent. Pretty ballsy. Like, that's
10
wild.
out of 10. Excellent. So funny. Oh my gosh.
And then like to like pretend that you feel guilty about it when like you were wearing it. And then when Kim notices the pin and rips it off your sweater as she did just the other day and throws it to the ground, you pick it up and show it to Nancy and be like, see, it's so different. Clearly it's not, and you know it's not. So anyway, Morgan is adamant, though, that all Lena could have done while in Kim's office is steal her designs, because the actual pin itself and the outfit had already left the office and gone to the pressers to be like pressed before the show. So like she couldn't have poisoned the pin because it wasn't in there. The only thing that was in Kim's office related to the designs were drawings of the designs. But so then Nancy is like, oh, this is the first I'm hearing really about like clothes going to the pressers. And if this pin like had gone to the pressers, then possibly it was poisoned there. Tell me more about what, you know, this pressers is. And it seems like all of the designers in the city use this one guy. So Nancy is like, we should probably try to go there and talk to him. So she goes to get Bess, but she like goes back to the hotel room. Bess is like getting her purse. And while she is, Nancy is like feeling faint and goes to open the window to get fresh air. And she ends up almost fainting and falling through the open window. She is, of course, saved by Bess yet again. And the two go to the pressers. His name is Mr. Orsini. And he is adamant that they take the best care of their customers' clothes. And he doesn't really have security here at the shop, but his shop is only used by these high fashion brands. And he knows everyone in the business and they only show up by appointment. So it's not like people are just in and out of here all the time and that people would have access to it. So he calls out one of his shop assistants. Her name is Miss Swang. We got to talk about that later. And Nancy remarks how awful she looks. Like she's just absolutely ragging on this lady's like whole outfit, which is such a wild thing to do when you have 12 hours left to live at this point. I think she literally calls her dusty.
Nancy, I'm sure you look great right now, sweating from your fever and like
she's like, your hair is dusty. She doesn't say this to her face, but she thinks it.
Yeah.
And that her clothes are like all mismatched. Just so weird for this random side character for Nancy to be so like upset about, but whatever. She says that Miss Swang says that no one in particular worked on Kim's clothes while they were here because kind of they all work on all of the clothes. It's not like they have like assignments or something. Makes sense, right? Mm-hmm. So then Nancy asks Mr. Orsini about the pin, about the ruby pin. And he says, oh, we're very careful about jewelry. You know, we make sure to carefully document what jewelry arrives with the clothes, and then we put it in the safe, and then we make sure it gets returned to the customer and everything like that. So he looks at like a little slip of paper that should have all of the details about this particular outfit that Nancy wore, but it doesn't have any information on it about a pin. Doesn't look like a pin came with the outfit. And that's weird. But it doesn't seem like it was ever here, according to their records. So it seems like maybe this is kind of a dead end. So they go back to the hotel. And when they do, they notice that the door to their room is slightly open and they can hear someone inside.
Luckily, it's just Ned. The police already released him for some reason. Turns out Paul is actually completely fine. He wasn't like knocked unconscious. He just fainted.
Yeah.
I guess from the stress of the situation, who knows? But Paul is not pressing charges. And so Ned is out and he apologizes to Nancy for losing his temper. Is that all it was? Ned,
I don't know. I think this is fair. I think what Ned did was absolutely horrible and, you know, not really excusable. But he does say, you know, he does apologize for it. And he does say that, you know, it was just because he was so worried about Nancy possibly dying that he wasn't thinking clearly. Yeah. And so I think that's excusable. Or not excusable, but I think that is understandable. Mm-hmm. And he does purposefully later seek Paul out to apologize to Paul.
That's true.
Well.
Yeah.
So like, I definitely don't think it's romantic. I don't think it's cool that he did that, but I think he takes appropriate accountability for it.
Yeah, he was trying to make up for it after the fact. Yeah. He can see that he was wrong, but in the moment it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
So now Nancy decides that it's time to question Lena, and so they all go up to her suite. It's super late though, so no one answers, but the door is unlocked. So snooping time, of course. On Lena's typewriter is a letter. It's already been drafted to one of the gossip columnists in town, and it's full of lies about Kim. Clearly, Lena has written this out. It also includes that she poisoned her own dog just to get sympathy from the press.
Yuck.
And this makes Nancy think that Lena couldn't be the poisoner, that she's probably responsible for the threatening calls, but it seems silly to Nancy that Lena would be writing nasty letters about her while also trying to kill her.
I don't really understand this.
Is it just that we're trying to like establish that there were two different, you know, like one person's doing the threatening and one person's doing the poisoning, and we thought that it was all one person? But maybe they're working together, but maybe we're ruling each other out.
I think I think the reason why we wouldn't think that is because we got the note that said, "I'm glad you're going to die in the same way that I've said about Kim and all of these threatening notes that I've given Kim."
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the reason why we think it's two different people, because clearly that's not what's been happening. I don't think that we can say that someone who is writing, nasty things about Kim to the tabloids wouldn't also want to kill her. I think.
Right. I think Nancy's logic is, oh, well, if she's going to kill her anyway, what's the point of like hurting her reputation? Well, in reality, it's like, it's all just a cherry on top, right? She's just trying to do as many awful things as possible. So
yeah,
whatever. So Nancy decides just cosmically that it couldn't be Lena. But this means Nancy is now at a loss.
Oh my God.
Because if it's not Paul or Morgan or Lena, then who could it possibly be? That's everyone, right? Like,
oh my
everyone
God,
who exists.
Nancy, come on.
And now Nancy officially is down to about 12 hours left to live, and she is really not feeling well, so Ned and Bess have to start carrying her everywhere. She can barely even stay conscious anymore, so she goes to bed, and she wakes up at 7 in the morning, because Bess let her sleep, and she, like, yells at Bess a little bit, like, why would you let me sleep so much? And Bess is like, you needed your rest, I'm sorry, and, like, it's just all an awful situation, and Nancy calls the doctor, who tells her that the lab has not made any further progress in identifying the poison, and she's like, okay, I need to know by, like, 10 o'clock today, so 3 hours from now. Otherwise, we won't have enough time to make the antidote. Because supposedly Nancy's about to die at like noon today, right?
Oh my God.
So Nancy's like, oh gosh, I need a shower. I can't die stinking, right?
Oh my God. I can't die stinking. That's so good. I can't die stinky.
I mean, what is she gonna do? Where's the dignity in that? Come on.
It's like how you have to put on your good underwear just in case you die in a car accident. It's like Nancy's like, I better shower and change my underwear so that when I shit myself when I die, and at least I, and I have to be undressed by the coroner or whoever. I'll be wearing a nice outfit.
Oh my gosh.
Let me call Kim so I can put on something stylish.
Oh my gosh.
Before I die in 3 hours.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. So she takes a shower. Oh, okay.
This is a shower, like, okay, on the quick side, a shower is 10 minutes. Yeah. That is, what is 10 minutes? What percent of 10 minutes is out of 3 hours?
Oh, that's math that I can't do.
Times 3, 6 times, 240, 10 divided by 240 divided by 10.
180.
No.
60 times 3 is 180.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I had to think about that. I was like, I don't know.
180 times.
Guys, don't worry. We're just doing 6th grade math over here.
18%
of Nancy's life.
I think it's 18%. If I did my math right. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I know I'm wrong. I'm terrible at math.
Don't correct us. Don't. Just let us be wrong.
I'm pretty sure this 10-minute shower is 18% of the rest of your life, Nancy. Is it really worth it? Is it really worth it? Listen, I do love a shower. So honestly, to me, it probably would be worth it.
Maybe it makes her feel a little better and wakes her up a little bit more.
I do think
probably not.
What she's saying is that she's trying to like snap herself out of this like brain fog that she's now perpetually in. But it just seems to me kind of like it's a little late. I think the way to snap out of the brain fog is to find the poison so that we can be cured from, our potential death, not, anyway.
So after the shower, we go to have a full sit-down breakfast in the lobby of the hotel.
I just cannot, you guys.
So another 18% here, easily.
No, this is way more than that. This is like 30%.
Like easily an hour that you take to have this breakfast.
At least 20 minutes, which is double the 18%.
Yeah.
Really, really hurting the clock here, you guys. Running it down.
Luckily, everyone, all of our suspects, is already there at breakfast. And so Nancy first talks to Paul. She apologizes for everything yesterday, and so does Ned. He accepts the apology and assures Nancy, like, it really was not me who poisoned you. I'm sorry you're dealing with that, but I'm not involved. I honestly was just there in the ballroom to check the lights for the stage. And the reason, actually, he circles back to that vocoder thing, the voice changer that we found in Lena's office. And he's like, the only reason I was being so weird about that was just because, one, it's super expensive. I didn't want anyone else messing with my equipment. But two, it's something that we needed during the show. And I was worried that you were going to like tell Kim that we had this part of our show and that, it's proprietary secrets or whatever. So whatever. But then Allison shows up and she goes over to Paul and is like really mad at him because she's like, I thought we were having breakfast. Why are you with them? And Nancy says to Allison, she's like, oh, well, you can sit with us here, pull up a chair. And she's like, no. And so she marches over to the other side of the restaurant, finds a table by herself and is like, I'll be waiting over here for you, Paul. And makes a whole dramatic thing out of it. Rude. But so Nancy gets up to follow her because she wants to talk to her a little bit more. And when she does, she faints. And she wakes up on the ground and she's surrounded by all these people standing around her. And Ned is trying to like get to her, but people won't get out of her way. And Nancy is super out of it, of course. And she's like, it actually kind of feels nice on the floor. I can take a nap right here. Just stretch out. It's fine. But she does notice that one of the people standing near her is wearing a pair of alligator shoes. And she remarks how they look exactly like those shoes that Mr. Orsini's shop assistant was wearing. Mrs. Swang or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Looks exactly like those shoes. And suddenly she realizes that maybe the poisoner, in all their free time, applied for a job at Mr. Orsini's shop and disguised themselves just to be able to get access to Kim's clothes. So Nancy looks up, and yes, it is Allison wearing the shoes.
Oh my God. Obviously.
Yes. And now we know Allison is the poisoner. They lock eyes, and Allison must know that Nancy knows now, and so she just takes off running. And Nancy shouts, she's like, stop her! And so luckily, Paul, Bess, Lena, and Kim all run after Allison. And Ned helps Nancy up, and they also start running after Allison. So they confront her in the ballroom, and Allison does confess to having tried to poison Kim several times. She put the poison in her sugar, which, of course, ended up being what poisoned Chanel. And then she got hired at Mr. Orsini's because she knew she'd have an opportunity to get in contact with Kim's pen there. She did all this because, of course, she is in love with Paul. And Paul is still obsessed with Kim, so with Kim out of the way, maybe Paul would finally pay attention to her?
This is such a wild motive.
Yeah. And Nancy is like, barely conscious herself at this point and is like, all right, so, all that aside, what is the poison, though, Allison? Just tell us the name. And Allison instead pulls out a powder-filled handkerchief, puts it in her mouth, and poisons herself. And she passes out before she can tell Nancy anything.
Oh, so luckily they are like just able to revive Allison enough. And Paul comes over to her and is like, I'm sorry for ignoring you. You can make it all right. We can make it all better if you'll just tell me what the name of the poison is. Which she does. And so then Allison and Nancy are rushed to the hospital, and Nancy is saved in just the nick of time. Allison is too, but her condition is still much worse than Nancy's, but she will live to see justice. They make a point to say that. Kim, Paul, Bess, and Ned come to visit Nancy in the hospital, and we learn from Kim that she is now reformed. She is changing her ways. She had a heart-to-heart with Morgan, learned about Lena stealing her designs because of Morgan, and knows that it was because of how horribly she had been treating her. And so she's like, I'm really sorry about it. All of this is my fault. She decided to give Morgan a raise.
Nice.
Love to hear it. And she promises to be better in the future, to keep her priorities in order. And she really realized that she cares more about Morgan as her sister than she does care about this business. So thank you, Kim. It's really sad that your dog had to be collateral damage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you couldn't
in
have
this
realized
quest
that
for
before.
yes, for this realization. But glad you finally got there. Paul does tell us that Lena confessed to making the threats against Kim. She was the one who was doing all the calls, and she was selling lies to the press, which we knew. She was also copying and reselling her designs, and she planted the bomb in the paperweight. And Lena may escape conviction for this, but even so, even if she does, her reputation in the fashion world is ruined now. So she's never gonna financially recover from this. She's also had to cancel her fashion show because of all of the blowback from this situation. And then there's a really sweet moment with Bess where Nancy thanks her for all of her help on this case. I do want to read that because I think it is lovely, and I think it also means that Nancy and Bess are in love. And Ned is also so incredibly relieved that Nancy is not going to die, obviously, though he does pretend to be in anguish at the thought of more mysteries.
Which is not cute or funny though, Ned.
Kind of frustrating considering everything that we've just been through. But that's it. That's the end.
Darn it, my girlfriend will live to enjoy more of her interests.
Literally.
Yeah.
Come on, Ned.
Oh, mysteries.
She almost died. Really came close to almost dying. We couldn't just let it be a nice moment. We had to make crack a joke at her profession, basically. Her calling.
Yeah.
It's just not a good boyfriend look. You know what I mean?
It's not even I wish you wouldn't do this because it gets you into situations like this. It's just that I'm going to be roped into coming along. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's read the little Bess moment because I would rather think about that than about Ned. Okay. Beaming, Nancy shook her head. Tell him to keep fishing. She's talking about Carson. I'm just fine. And tell him it's mostly because of you. She's talking to Bess. If you hadn't been around to help me. Oh, stop, said Bess, blushing. All I did was nag you once in a while. I'm serious, Bess, said Nancy quietly. You were the best friend I could have had. You really came through for me when I needed you the most. I'll never forget it. Bess leaned forward and gave Nancy a big hug. I'm just glad you're okay now, she said.
Bess, you deserve that. Bess deserves to have nice things said to her all the time. That was lovely.
Yes. So sweet. And so deserved because Bess did quite, in fact, save her life on multiple occasions in this book. Not only did she stop her from falling through a window, she was also the one who was physically getting her from place to place. You know what I mean? Yeah. Team Bess.
Good job,
Hashtag
Bess.
Team Bess.
Hashtag Team Bess. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I have to complain about this plot hole with Mr. Orsini's shop. What do you mean Allison had a second job?
I think she's a part-time assistant.
Even part-time. And they do say it's a seasonal job, which I get, they hire specifically for this fashion show season. That's fine. How does she have the time? Because this is literally a 24/7 job. They're all in this hotel working not 8 to 5 hours. This is all day and night that they're working. That she has time to just peace out for a 6-hour shift real quick and come back. And no one recognized her?
Yeah. No, that's okay. See, that's the thing that I keep getting tripped up on is that when Nancy goes to the hospital, it's the morning, right? Or midday. She'd taken a nap or possibly just woken. No, she'd just woken up because Bess was going down to breakfast.
Yeah.
So it was the morning and she goes to the hospital. And then on her way back from the hospital is when she, oh wait, no, sorry. I'm in a different spot. I'm thinking about when she goes to the, sees the designs in the shop, but that's not where we are. when is it that she goes to Mr. Orsini's shop? Oh no, it's like close to the end of the day.
Yeah, after we talk to Morgan,
we talk to
she
Morgan.
tells about the presser, and then they go to him. Yeah,
and I remember we're trying to do it quickly because it's like 4:00 and we think he's going to close soon at like 5, and so we're kind of trying to hurry. And then we get there. So yeah, it's like in the afternoon. It's like still the middle of the workday, or like close to the end of the workday, but like still in the workday. And then quote unquote Miss Swang shows up, and Nancy doesn't recognize her as being Allison. She spends so much time talking about what she looks like, her dusty hair, her outfit. And now, like, I know that a lot of that is like supposed to be, oh, well, she's wearing like weird clothes or whatever, like a disguise so that we don't recognize her. Nancy looks at her in her face. She speaks to Nancy. It's not just like she's there in the background or like nods. She talks. How are we not recognizing? Unless it's just that Allison is supposed to be so utterly forgettable.
Yeah.
That literally everyone forgets that she exists. And if
Which
that
I
is
don't
the
think
case,
it's supposed to be.
But if that is the case, then I'm kind of like, okay, yeah, I can understand maybe why she's poisoning people.
But just what a bad plan. Just like going to the lengths of getting a whole second job. Forget about the actual logistics of balancing that with her actual assistantship position. She goes there on the off chance that Kim will bring her personal outfit in. Now, Allison, reminder, doesn't work for Kim. She works for Kim's rival, so wouldn't have a way of knowing which outfit Kim brings in would be the one that Kim is personally going to wear. Unless Kim happened to mention it, she decides to poison this pen and put it back on the outfit before it goes out the door. It could have gone into anyone's hands.
That was going to go on a model.
It was going to go on a model. Sarah, the woman at the very, very beginning who even brings the outfit in the first place, could have gotten stabbed with it. It just in the process of transporting it to Kim. All of these things could have gotten in the way. For it would have to be like the luckiest chance in the world that she puts the poison on that pin and nothing happens to it between the time that it leaves Mr. Orsini's shop until it is put on by Kim. What? That's such an off chance thing that she goes to all these lengths just to maybe get the chance to do that? That's weird.
No, that is really weird. It is weird. And then it also is like, what is that poison that like you can put on the head or the tip of a pin and it's still going to be there for whenever
the next day,
future.
Maybe? Yeah.
Like, and it's a powder that she has in her handkerchief that she like swallows, I guess, towards the end. But you can't just dip a pin in a powder and expect that to like
not flake off everywhere.
Right. Like and then everybody's getting poisoned if like they like they touch the fabric and it poofs out onto them and then they're dead. You know what I mean?
Right. And is she bringing the poison to Mr. Orsini's shop every day on the chance that she'll have the chance to use it? And then she's not covering her tracks well enough that she's putting on this disguise but not taking it off 100% before she leaves? She keeps the shoes on? Really? Really?
What I don't understand is how, because we never talk about this, the most successful attempt that she makes at the poisoning is the tea, clearly, right? Like Kim is the only one who drinks the tea. How did she poison the tea? How did she get access to the tea?
Right.
We don't know that. She was never in the office. Lena didn't do it. How'd she poison the tea? Why is Chanel dead? Justice for Chanel.
I know. Poor
Justice
Chanel.
for Chanel.
Chanel did not deserve this.
It shouldn't have even happened. How did it even happen? We still don't know.
Nope. Plot hole. Plot hole number 85.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, Allison? I don't believe any of it.
And then all of it for Paul. For Paul. Paul, who's like, I'm the one who made Kim Daly famous. Paul's the one who's like, oh, Lena's so much less controlling than Kim. Stellar boyfriend, Paul. It's it's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy.
Yeah. To get revenge on someone else's rival.
Yeah.
Because you think that her ex-boyfriend might love you if you do.
Well, and like, why aren't we going after Lena? Like, we Lena's clearly really into Paul.
Mhm.
And yeah, Paul is still kind of into Kim. But Kim is clearly not into Paul still.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't really seem like a big of a threat. The bigger threat to me, like if I'm Allison, seems like Lena.
Not the girl who doesn't want Paul back.
Right.
Like, Kim didn't even want to talk to Paul at most parts of the book.
No.
So.
No. So Allison's a psychopath.
Yeah, the motive is confusing, even if you do have the disjointed logic of someone who believes that they can steal someone's boyfriend that way.
Like,
or at all.
Oh my God. And a mediocre boyfriend. Like kind of a bad boyfriend at that. You know what I mean? We're not talking about some saint, like I just
just Paul.
Oh, just Paul. I will say, okay, something else, another plot hole that's in this book, and this one actually truly bothered me a lot, is that Nancy never eats anything.
Oh, yeah.
She never eats anything, and she's constantly fainting. And we're saying all of the time that it's because she's been poisoned. But I'm like, I'm pretty sure actually it's because the only thing Nancy's eaten in 24 hours is a bite of melon. And
girl, your blood sugar's low.
Like, I just think maybe we should be doing a little bit more to be taking care of our body while we've been poisoned, you know? And I know it's like she doesn't have an appetite or whatever. She needs to be drinking some soup or like something, like
water
to get some calories in her, because I'm pretty sure that can't be helping. Like, she's like constantly like trying to open the window to like, and then fainting, and like she's in the shower trying to like wake herself. I'm like, eat something. Eat something. But like literally we don't have any food. It's the first food that we get, first food scene that we get is when they go to have lunch with Kim when they first get there. Nancy immediately starts feeling, she has like a bite of her salad or something. She immediately starts feeling sick, doesn't finish, passes out, goes to take a nap. No food. She like the next food that we talk about her eating is breakfast the next day. She doesn't eat.
She doesn't have anything there either.
She doesn't eat. No. It's literally, and this happens over 3 days, 72 hours. I think there is like
she
2 bites of food consumed. She doesn't eat at all. We don't talk about her eating at all. So, so that's another plot hole for me.
She doesn't even have one of the cookies at the start.
No.
One of the chocolate cookies. Chanel gets a cookie.
She's like, no, thank you. I'm fine.
No, you're not, Nancy.
Well, at that point she was.
She
was
like, fine then. But
later. And then, she has like 1 bite of melon, I think, in the second breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, then she's too nauseous. She can't eat anymore. I'm like, what? Okay. Well.
You know, if you'd stayed at the hospital, they could have given you something for that.
Yeah.
They could have given you an IV. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nausea meds.
Yep.
Giving you a lot of things.
Yeah. I'm so surprised that, like, even when she was discharged from the hospital, like, the doctor didn't say, like, we can give you some stuff to help with the symptoms, to help mitigate the symptoms.
Yep.
Some pain meds, at least.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Yeah, anti-nausea. Smelling salts or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, anything.
Nope. Gosh, at the very end when Nancy calls and she's saying like, oh, we still don't have it or whatever. And the doctor's like, okay, we need the antidote, or we need to know the name of the poison so that we can make the antidote by 10 a.m. Mm-hmm. She even tells Nancy at that point, she's like, even if we don't find it, you should still come back to the hospital because we can help make you more comfortable. And Nancy's like, oh my God, that means they're going to help me die. And it's like, well Nancy, kinda. That's what's happening to you. And you're choosing not to take them up on it. Like they could help you feel a little bit better, like like the IV, like you don't have to be completely miserable even if you aren't going to die. Like they seriously, it's not the worst suggestion. Like Nancy's like offended almost that she says this, and it's like it's not the worst suggestion in the world, you know.
seriously
Ugh, awful. Anyway,
so
that was Death by Design. We did it.
Okay, we need to talk about, though, Danger by Design. Talk about similarities and differences here.
We haven't actually covered the game on the podcast yet, which is rare at this point.
Haven't?
We have not. Nope, that's one of the very few
it's
that we
such a
haven't
good
covered
one,
yet.
too. Wait, are you sure?
I'm sure.
Hussa, we haven't talked about that?
I know
we've talked about that.
Mm-hmm. Let me check the list.
I just feel like there's no way.
Nope.
Oh my god. Okay. Wow. I'm putting that.
So no spoilers.
Okay, yeah, we can't do spoilers yet. Okay, well, so it is obviously set in a location that's very different. We mentioned that a little bit in our last episode. So this is set in Chicago, not in Paris.
Mm-hmm.
I do think the Paris setting is a huge upgrade, just immediate upgrade.
Honestly, all of the changes that they made were necessary.
Yeah. Now, like, I've never been to Chicago, and I'm sure Chicago is a great city. But when we're talking about, like, fashion, I'm not thinking about Chicago.
No. We're always in Chicago anyway, so.
Yeah. I'm probably thinking about New York, and that would also be a great setting.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're going to do an international mystery, Paris is such a great option. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Perfect. I love the character. I think Minette is such a great kind of upgrade from Kim.
Mm-hmm.
Kim is like, you know, she's very similar to Minette's character in how she's like so dramatic and loves her tea and all of that stuff or whatever, but making her be more kind of like flamboyant and like more over the top in the things that she wears and her whole aesthetic, I think is a great choice because of course, you know, reading is just a different medium than like a visual medium, which like a video game technically is. So, of course, it's going to be more interesting to see a character that is like decked out than a character who's just wearing jeans and a sweater. But great choice. Great choice to set it in a old Moulin instead of a hotel.
Right.
Great.
Much better.
Much better.
I was secretly hoping that we would have some sort of like Easter egg in the game where we find out that Minette's real name is Kim or something. That's not the case, but oh well.
Yeah. And then Heather, obviously, in the game is kind of our Allison.
Also Morgan
Sarah,
a little bit. Yeah,
Morgan.
Also Sarah kind of combined. Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Awesome.
Yeah. And Dieter is our Paul. We don't really have a rival designer, I guess.
Well, there's Hugo Butterly, but he's not an in-game character. We only really read about him in the magazines. But Jean-Michel is kind of our gossip columnist, you know?
Yes.
That works.
Yeah, it has all of the tenets there, but like it's so much more flavor in the game.
Yeah, it really is.
In the book. In the book, it's just kind of like what should be normal people, like being super catty and like violent with each other, and then in the game is like actually like characters with like their own like motivations and complex thoughts and experiences, and maybe like they make some bad choices, but like we kind of understand a little bit more why. And this one, it's like everyone's crazy, everyone's mean for seemingly no reason. So yeah.
I love the game.
Yeah, me too. It's a really good one.
Yeah.
Really good one.
There were so many times reading the book where I was like, or Nancy was like, oh, what if it was this? And I'm like, that would be a great change. And I remember I'm like, because that's what the game does.
Because that's what the game does.
To be that, and it's perfect. It works so well.
Yeah, and the game also has, right, Minette, our fashion designer, is receiving threats, right? That's why Nancy ends up going there. But it's not, she doesn't get hired by Minette. She doesn't get hired by the fashion designer. She gets hired by, is it like Prudence?
It's somebody who's it's Prudence. Well, no, it's Amy Grunhild.
Amy Grunhild, right.
But she's like an investor in Minette's brand. So Amy calls us in because I think Amy knows Carson or something. It's not clear, and Amy's not important, but she's mentioned very briefly.
Yes, and so Nancy comes in to investigate. She's getting threatening notes, though, not calls. But so that's, I guess, a difference. Although they do talk about notes.
There is one threatening call in Danger by Design.
Okay.
But yeah, it's mostly notes. So
yeah. So yeah, it's all there. The only thing that's not really there is the poison aspect. Nancy doesn't get poisoned. Right. So thankfully.
Although we do make tea.
We do make tea.
Yes.
No dog.
No dog.
Chanel.
No. I wouldn't be able to handle a dog death in a game. No. So that's
Although
fine.
I kept thinking about Mr. Mingles from
Resorting to Danger.
From Resorting to Danger.
Aww.
Whenever I pictured Chanel, I pictured Mr. Mingles. But don't worry, Mr. Mingles is fine.
Yes.
Fine.
Yeah, all the dogs in the game, alive and well. All of them are fine.
I was thinking we should update the website Does the Dog Die? And let everyone know that it does in this book so that you can save yourself and not read it. But
we
if you
need a
listen to
Nancy
this
Drew
podcast,
version. Yeah.
yeah.
We'll just put it on our own website and start our own list.
Yeah. Luckily, though, I do think that'd be pretty slim. You know, there aren't a lot of books. I mean, there are some books where like there is, you know, animal harm, but not so many with animal death. So
the squirrel in Willow Woods, sabotage at Willow Woods. That was awful.
That was pretty bad. And then there's the one where Togo gets hurt in one of the mystery stories, the original ones.
Brassbound Trunk?
Maybe. I can't remember.
Oh, no, that's Snowball's in that one, not Togo.
Oh, yeah, that's Snowball. And Snowball doesn't get hurt.
Okay. Good. Thank goodness.
I can't remember. It's like at the beginning, I think, when like there's like a car. There's always a car outside of Nancy's house at the beginning of mystery stories. It's such a trope.
Yeah.
But he gets like, I think he gets hit by the car or something. Yeah. And she does take him to the vet, thankfully.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, that was tough too. And the pigeon, the famous pigeon from
Larkspur Lane.
Yes. That we put in a box in the garage. I'll never forget. But
the pigeon was fine too, though, right?
Yes, the pigeon ended up being fine. Yeah.
Well, because we called in our expert, so. Oh, that was a good book.
Yeah.
Fond memories. It was so long ago now. Goodness.
Yeah. But so yeah. That was Death by Design. I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
I hated it, which feels wrong to say about a file.
Yeah.
But it's true.
Yeah. I didn't hate it. I didn't like it. I didn't hate it. I just didn't like it.
If we'd left out the entire dog plot, if Chanel just wasn't in the story at all, I wouldn't have liked it. Because we killed the dog for no freaking reason, I hate it.
Yeah, that's so fair. So fair. The only reason why like I didn't have that reaction is because we barely talk about the dog. Like we barely mention the dog as a plot, which is horrible and sad and really terrible for the dog. But because it like wasn't brought to my attention a super lot, I didn't have to sit in those feelings.
Yeah,
you know. So, yeah. If it doesn't bother you, then maybe you won't have as much issue with this book as we did. I will say, just in general, though, I just didn't like any of the characters. Yeah. I felt like the mystery itself was obvious and really dumb, just like not particularly complicated or interesting. Nancy didn't really end up doing any kind of impactful investigating.
Nope.
It was just that she did go to Mr. Orsini's shop, and that did end up being the clue, but like mostly it was just like, oh, you know, we're going to lunch, we're thinking about people who could be doing it. Oh crap, I've been poisoned. Now I'm getting into really dangerous situations because I've been poisoned. I'm confronting people who aren't actually the ones who did it. Now we're like, it's going to be too late. Oh, you know, and then by some like crazy random happenstance, I happen to notice and remember that this person is wearing the same shoes I saw somewhere else. Yeah. And then that's it. That's like the whole mystery. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. I kind of wish, I think what would have made this book better, outside of everything they did in the game, obviously, is if we had set this more in the fashion world. Like if we had gotten more kind of vibes of like everyone being stressed out and crazy because it's fashion week or something. And, you know, it set in New York maybe instead of Chicago. And I do think we needed different characters. I don't think we needed more, but I wanted more characters that were kind of more directly involved in the fashion aspect of it. I wanted a model at the very least, like a major model character. We mentioned like Apollo in passing, but like we don't ever talk about him ever again.
We don't talk to him. We don't name any of the other models at all. So,
and we also just don't talk about like what the process is and what it looks like outside of like, I guess, Kim designing things. But like we don't talk about like the construction of garments. We don't talk about fittings. We don't talk about like the runway or prepping the stage area or anything like that. We're not talking about the concept of the show. We're not talking about the concept of Kim's designs and what they look like outside of the one outfit that Nancy puts on. Like, we're not talking about any of that. And it's just like, I want to, like, if that's where we're set, then I want to talk about that. Like, I want to be involved in that instead of just, it feels like what we're doing is we're spending time like listening to people like talk bad about each other behind their backs and like kind of overhearing things. And it just feels like I want more actual action. I don't just want talk. Like, I want to see people doing things. I want to be observing. I want to be more involved in the actual process and not just kind of like going back and forth, you know?
Yeah, I want the vibes that we had in, what was it called? A Model Crime, where Bess is being a model in Chicago in the hotel. Like, that was a way better vibe. And it was so similar to this story, but it had none of the fashion elements.
Yeah.
Surprising for a fashion book. So
Right. Yeah. And I think even that, like, if we had played that up more, then I think the stress of the situation, you know, of everything having to get done and deadlines and all of this would have made people's behavior a lot more explainable than it just seeming totally out of character when someone gets hit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, what it just feels like we escalated out of nowhere because everyone's crazy, you know, instead of feeling like a ramp up. Oh, everyone's under a deadline. Everyone's under this crazy pressure. We didn't really get that because we didn't understand what the situation was. We didn't understand what was going on in their actual work, their day to day.
That would have been really good too, because then we could have had like Nancy putting things into context with her own illness. You know, I'm so sick, and they're like, yeah, whatever. We've got a deadline, so step back, Missy. You know, like just not caring because they're so wrapped up in their own drama. That would have been interesting. But.
Yeah. Oh well.
At least we got a great game out of this premise, the general premise. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't be too mad because it's probably your favorite game, right, Kori?
I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it's definitely top 10.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I love it though. It's fun. I don't know. The like travel aspect of the games was always a huge selling point for me, and the fact that we get to do and see so much in Paris is just a really big draw for me. And so I love it just because of that. And also the plot's fun. So
yeah, I love the plot of that game. I think it's such an interesting one. It's kind of different from other games, but I just the immersion aspect of being in Paris, and then I feel like everything just kind of fits and makes sense. And it's an interesting one for sure, and I'm really excited to cover it now.
I love the historical side plot as well. That's obviously not in the book, but I love the addition. I always love the historical side plots in the games anyway, but then the way that they tied it in with World War II and Paris and how relevant that was for the 40s. And so
yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, we can leave Death by Design behind us for now.
We were going to get to it eventually. At least it's done. And now we know where those crumbs of inspiration came from for the game.
Yeah. And we will move on to another file.
Oh, flashlight score.
Oh, right. Flashlight score. Oh, I just forgot because I didn't want to have to think about it anymore. Oh, this is hard. This is really hard. Not because I want to give it a good score, because I want to give it a bad one. But also, I don't think it's the worst Nancy Drew mystery I've ever read.
Fair.
Still, even so, there's some cogency cogency to it. Like, the sentences made sense. I just can't.
Grammatically, it was correct.
Grammatically correct. I have a really hard time after I read Greek Symbol Mystery.
Oh.
Because that one was really bad. Like, didn't seem like a book that made sense. This is better than that, but honestly, not by much. So I'm gonna give it like a 1.5.
Okay.
Yeah, a 1.5, just because, like, I guess I understand what they were going for. Did they get it? No. Did any of it make sense? No. But I at least kind of understood why they wrote it the way that they did, you know? Greek Symbol Mystery was just a total mystery to me. So, what about you?
I think it deserves a 0, but I'm going to give it a 0.25. And that quarter of a flashlight is just because it inspired Nature by Design.
Yeah.
Just the fact that the premise and general characterization, or really the job roles, not even the characterization of the characters, made it into the game. That's all we needed to keep. So
Yeah, pretty bad.
It was almost our first negative flashlight, but not this time.
Wow.
We have given 0s before.
Have we?
I think Haunted Showboat got a 0.
Really?
I think the DS game we did also.
Oh, yeah.
We might have also given that one a 0.
That one was pretty bad.
Old
yeah,
World
you're
Park.
right. This is kind of on par with that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, Cluebender Society.
Cluebender Society. Yeah. Oof. I bought a DS just to play that game.
You'll have to get the Detective Barbie DS game just so that you'll have something to use the DS for.
Yeah, but I have the Detective Barbie game for PC, so I can just play it on PC. But...
Surely they make other... They have Secret Agent Barbie, I think, as well for Nintendo. So you might be able to do that.
I loved Secret Agent Barbie.
I know. Oh, when she rolls with her little lipstick thing that she has.
Oh my god. The maze, in the maze at the French chateau, that was almost like world-ending puzzle for me. I could not do it. I couldn't do it. I spent days trying to get past that thing. That was rough. I think I had to have my sister help me.
No shame in that.
But yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, but next.
Yes.
We are covering another book inspiration for a game.
Yes. Yeah. Number 43, False Impressions.
Yay!
So shall I read the back of it?
Yes, please.
Okay. When a con artist enters the picture, it's Nancy who gets framed. A beautiful young woman in nearby Mapleton has been bilking the members of a posh country club out of thousands of dollars. The extortionist's name, according to the victims, is Nancy Drew. What's worse, the con artist is a dead ringer for the teen detective. The fix is in, and Nancy feels the sting. But two can play at this con game. Disguising herself as a reporter, Nancy resolves to ferret out the truth. The story's hot, but the news is all bad. A small-time Chicago hood has turned up dead with Nancy Drew's name in his pocket, and now the police suspect her of murder. Dun, dun, dun. I'm halfway through this.
I've already finished it. And it was so good. It was so much better than Death by Design.
Yes, it's already better. I'm already into it. So I am really excited to talk about that with you next time. Kori.
Yes, as you could tell from the description, Nancy does impersonate Brenda Carlton. So what could be better?
Oh.
What could be better? Honestly,
Brenda Carlton, we're in Mapleton. It's just such a fun kind of switch up of the River Heights stuff. I love it so much so far. Carson's in it.
Yep.
I'm it's so good. It's so good.
Bess and George are both there. Ned is there. Everybody's there. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's so good. It's so good. So interesting that we have another country club involvement so soon after Circle of Evil. I'm wondering now how prevalent that is amongst the files.
Yeah.
It's a location where we are. But yeah, interesting. Interesting all around.
It also reminds me a little bit of Nancy's Mysterious Letter with Nancy Smith Drew,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like that, too, was set in kind of the towns around River Heights.
It was, yeah. It was set in Mapleton, wasn't it?
I don't know if
it was it's set at Emerson.
Mapleton, but, we go to, the college, and then we are, traveling back, and, we're kind of in between.
Yeah. She's going to all these, neighboring towns. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, sorry. Anyway, we're already doing the next episode here.
Here we go. Yeah, no, we'll save it. We'll save it for the next time Regular Drews, and we hope you'll join us then.
Yeah, see you then.
Thank you for listening to Regular Nancy Drew. If you like this episode, make sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Email us at regularnancydrew@gmail.com.
You can also visit our website, regularnancydrew.com, and also follow us on Instagram at regularnancydrew.
You can also support us on Patreon. Patrons at the $3 level vote on upcoming episode topics and get exclusive access to our Scoop Sesh series.
And all patrons receive early access to each episode as well as weekly bonus content.
And to all you regular Drews out there, thanks for listening.